wire guru. Week 1 is almost done. Obviously, there's some games this evening. I like to record this video on Monday before the games. That way, Tuesday, or you can go and hit the waiver wire as soon as possible. But Tuesday is obviously a great day for waiver wire. We're going to get right into it. I got to move fast because I've got a lot of picks here for you guys. I've got about 16 picks total. I've got quarterbacks for you, I've got running backs, I've got wide receivers and tight ends. I also have a bonus section because, as you guys know, I like to give 4 picks at each position: QB, running back, wide receiver, and tight end. But my running back selections aren't as solid as I'd like them to be. Didn't have a whole lot of action this weekend at running back, so I've got 4 bonus wide receiver picks because we've got a lot of wide receivers to look at. Okay, we're going to get right into it, right into quarterback. I know some of you are frustrated. You know, if you look at someone like, Matt Schaub, Jay Cutler, Aaron Rodgers, maybe you unfortunately have McNabb and he's out for next week. There's a lot of frustration going on there at quarterback. But just be patient, okay? It's hard. I know after the first week you're like, oh, my season, it's ruined. I'm over. I'm going to lose. You're not going to lose. You might have lost the first week, but we're going to get you back, okay? Playoffs is what matters. Okay, playoffs is where you make your money. Okay, so we're going to get you ready for those playoffs every week. Okay, and also in the bye weeks, we're going to be kicking some booty on the bye weeks when other people are sleeping. Okay, quarterbacks. First, Joe Flacco. He is out on the waiver wires. Okay, 3 touchdowns, great performance. They're getting some consulting done at on offense, and Joe Flacco is benefiting from it. And I like what I see there. I'm very impressed from what I see there. So take a look at Joe Flacco. Next, I'm worried about Kurt Warner. That is not the Kurt Warner I'm used to. I am concerned. Okay, I think the injury to his hip is significant, and I don't think he's going to make it through the whole season. So Matt Lienart becomes someone you need to look at. I'm not saying you need to go pick him up right now, but you need to look at Matt Lienart because Warner is, I'm worried. That's why I traded him this offseason. Okay, next, Mark Sanchez. Okay, don't get too excited, but don't sleep on the guy either. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and he's developing. So keep an eye on him. If you have roster space, go ahead and stash him. Okay, next is Brady Quinn. Not excellent, not horrible, don't jump out of your chair. Keep an eye on him as well. The best pick out of those 4 is obviously Joe Flacco, and I'd go grab him. Okay, next, let's move on to running back. Here's where we're a little bit weak. In one of my leagues, I'm really weak at running back, so every week I've got to find somebody. This week, I started Mike Bell, and I benefited from that. Didn't see a touchdown from him, but I had to start him because I've got Marshawn Lynch just serving his 3-game suspension like many of you might. Okay, so Mike Bell is my first running back pickup, but buyer beware. Pierre Thomas says he wants to play this week. It's what he said last week. And they might let him rest some more because Mike Bell is impressive. Okay, next, Caddilac Williams. He's not going to do that every week. That's the bottom line. You're not going to get what he gave every week. Okay, they still have running back by committee there. It's interesting to see they started Caddilac. Caddilac looked explosive. Okay, but don't just go grabbing him and starting him. Grab him and bench him and wait. And we'll see if he really is what he is. Okay, next is Tim Hightower. The reason I like Tim Hightower is because Kurt Warner is having so much trouble throwing, he is dumping off left and right. The man got 10 receptions. Okay, Tim Hightower's on a lot of waiver wires. Go pick him up. Next is Ricky Williams. Again, I'm reaching here. Ricky Williams is a reach. Ricky Williams, Willis McGahee, Beanie Wells, Lindell White. All these guys are like vultures at the goal line. Ricky Williams, keep an eye on him. Again, if you're struggling like I am and you're desperate and Ricky Williams is on your waiver wire, go ahead, snag him, and I guess you got to start him. I'm sorry. Okay, wide receiver. Oh my goodness. Steve Smith of the New York Giants. Steve Smith of the New York Giants is extremely talented. I mean, I watched the whole game, just so impressed by him. He didn't get in the end zone like Mario Manningham did, but the man is talented. That is the wide receiver #1 in New York Giants, and he looks good. Next, Michael Clayton. All you Antonio Bryant owners who are kicking yourself, I told you guys about the injury. I'm worried about that knee. He hasn't played in 9 months. He's not going to get out there and explode on you guys. But Michael Clayton, on the other hand, they're using him. They're letting him even try and pass. You know, they're working him into the system. So Michael Clayton is somebody that you can get in there, you know, and maybe even start over your Antonio Bryant. Next is Patrick Crayton. Caught a nice pass from Romo. I am expecting Tony Romo to have a great season, and I do think Crayton can benefit and can definitely be someone, if you're hurting at wide receiver, that you can pick up and start. Next one is someone we're keeping an eye on. If you have extra bench space, go ahead. But here's someone to keep an eye on. Laurent Robinson. Mark Bulger. Oh my gosh. Okay. Not a very good quarterback. He has glimpses where he's okay, but Laurent Robinson is 6'2" and dynamite. The guy is fast. He's going to take over wide receiver number 1 over Donnie Avery. Guarantee you that right now. Laurent Robinson, keep an eye on him. You don't have to pick him up right now. Tight end. Lots to talk about tight end. You got Robert Royal. This guy Quinn was looking at a lot. Robert Royal looked pretty good for a tight end. I'll tell you, if you're struggling at tight end and need somebody, Robert Royal looks pretty good, especially if you own Bo Skife and he might be out a week or two, all right, from that nasty hit he took. Robert Royal could be someone you want to pick up and start. Next, oh my gosh, Todd Heap. He's coming back, all right. I wasn't too high on him in the offseason. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with L.J. Smith coming in, but you know what? Todd Heap is looking a lot better, and I would keep an eye on him, and I would grab him and put him on my bench. He looks pretty darn good. Next is Vernon Davis. He's going to be consistent. He's not going to set the world on fire, you know, but someone to keep an eye on. I wouldn't run out and grab him. Next is Jeremy Shockey. Oh my gosh, he is benefiting from Drew Brees. The guy looked healthy, a little more disciplined than usual. I like what I see out of Jeremy Shockey. He could have a big season. Okay, here's my bonus. Because running backs weren't so hot, I'm giving you actually 5 wide receivers here. The first one, Mario Manningham. Mentioned him earlier. He's going to end up being the wide receiver 2 on the Giants. I think you're going to see Hickson fall away to wide receiver 3 there. Okay, but Mario Manningham, great catch, great touchdown. I wouldn't expect that every week. My stud there is Steve Smith. Okay, next, moving on, Anthony Gonzalez out 4 to 6 weeks. Okay. You've got Pierre Garcon and Austin Collie. You guys know I've been, for Dynasty Leaguers, high on Austin Collie. Pierre Garcon actually looks pretty good too, so keep an eye on those two. And if you're desperate at wide receiver, pick one of those two. I would probably favor Garcon right now just because he's not playing in the slot. But either one could be fine. It's going to be a little bit of a crapshoot between Garcon and Collie, who gets more each week. Next, Kenny Britt. Okay, we wrote a nice article. If you guys read our site, read our articles, you know about Kenny Britt. 85 yards, don't expect that next week. Nate Washington, also another person I would take a look at. Coming back next week, you're going to see Britt follow wide receiver 3 spot, and you're going to see Nate Washington step up and get some of those targets. Okay, Justin Gage looked pretty good too as well. All 3 of those guys may even be on your waiver wire right now. Kenny Britt, Nate Washington, and Justin Gage. Especially if you're a Dynasty League as well, Kenny Britt could be somebody. He's the 2nd youngest player in the league. But you got Gage and Nate Washington, which can be good for you as well. Last is Devery Henderson. Breeze through lights out. Everybody was benefiting. Everybody was happy. Meacham was happy. You got Henderson happy. Okay, so you really can't pick too bad on the Saints, but don't expect it every week, guys. Just don't. I mean, don't go out there, you know, and bench one of your stud wide receivers because you think Devery Henderson's going to be nasty every year. But you know, that wide receiver core is heavy. So I just gave you a bunch of wide receivers. There's a lot of wide receivers to look at. That's it, guys. Keep tuning in. Check out HattyWaiverWireGuru.com. If you have a question, email me. I email you back. I will do it. It's HattyWaiverWireGuru@HattyWaiverWireGuru.com. I will email you back. Good luck. Kick butt. I was 5-2 this week, okay, out of my 7 leagues. Winning 5, lost 2. One of my leagues I lost because of IDP. You know, whatever. But 5-2 is not bad. I could, if things go well tonight, be 6-1. I'm giving you guys advice that wins. We're going to make your bench deep, and we're going to get you some championships. Hang in there. I know you had a tough week.